Hi, I'm Tracy.
Hi, I'm Randy.
And we are here today to unbox the Technivorm coffee maker. Randy, let's open her up and see what she looks like.
Okay.
Now what's really neat about this coffee maker is that it's made in Holland and it's still made by hand. So it's surprising nowadays with so much technology and you see so many different plants, but this is actually done by hand.
You can take that.
Nice top here.
We'll pull out the brewer out of the box.
Okay. Alright, so we have some nice paperwork here to be able to tell us. There's some free filters to come along with the machine. Okay.
And I'll grab the carafe.
Set it up here.
Nice thermal carafe.
And I've got the lid to go along with that. Okay, so nice thermal carafe.
Okay, we get filters and the instructions for the machine.
And you
Actually,
also get...
This actually goes underneath the machine under the base for the thermal brew.
Oh, great. So it gives us something just to slide right into then.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. And there's your other top. And your free coffee scoop. All right. Well, let's come over here, Randy, and show everybody how this machine works.
Okay. Maybe you want to talk about the boiler.
We can do that. Well, let's look first. We've got two separate different models to this. We have the thermal carafe, which we're going to be actually brewing on today, and then also a model that's available with a glass carafe with a hot pad. And what's a little bit unique about this pad itself is that it is a ceramic one, so it's really good at heat retention and so forth. And you notice that inside here, unlike typical pots, you actually have a long spout in here too that draws the coffee through, which is pretty unique. Now this maker comes, what it says, for 10 cups. That's actually European measurements, so for US you're looking at about an 8-cup coffee maker. So Randy, do you want to show us how this works?
Sure. What you do is remove the lid and remove the lid for the water to go in. What I've done just before here is I actually primed the pot, putting hot water into the thermal carafe. And the reason why we do that is because when you're brewing into it, you don't want to be brewing into a cold thermal carafe, because what will happen is you'll reduce the temperature of the coffee going into the thermal carafe.
Makes a lot of sense. So you're going to actually use a separate water container to be able to pour your cold water in? Okay.
And what's nice about this machine, it has a movable spout, so you can push it to the back.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yep, so you can use your number 4 Krups coffee filter.
And you did get some of those free with the machine. The other thing is, too, this machine will fill a standard gold tone filter. So if you want to use a permanent filter that you just wash out, you can also do that with the machine.
Okay, what we're going to do is we've already pre-ground some coffee, so we're going to take 5 scoops with a scoop provided.
And what kind of coffee are you using?
I'm using the Gaja.
Okay. And this is the Gaja Arabica. And it's really nice to use a fresh ground coffee if you can, because you're really going to pull out some good flavors. And you can also use this with a pre-ground coffee if you need to, if you don't have the ability to have fresh coffee that you're grinding.
Okay. What we're going to do is just pour the water into the reservoir. You want to fill it pretty much almost up to the top. And then replace the cover. Put the cover on for the coffee filter. And then this has the option of doing closed, so if you want to pre-fuse the coffee in the beginning, you'll push the button all the way down. If you're doing a half pot of coffee, only 4 cups, you'll move it to the middle one. If you're doing a full pot, you do it all the way to the top.
And so the middle and the top ones, what are the difference between those two buttons, Randy? If you're doing a half a pot, does it go slower or faster, or what does it do for that side?
Yeah, it'll slow it down if you're doing a half pot, so it'll make sure it grabs all the flavor out of the coffee.
That's a nice feature.
The other nice feature is when you turn it on and push the carafe in, the only time this will turn on is when you hit this start
like a sensor button underneath
right
there.
So now we're all set to go, and it should start brewing.
Okay. So right now you're going to do the pre-infusion, is that correct?
Right, so we're going to turn it off.
Okay.
And once the brewer starts to get going, we're going to make sure that all the grounds are wet.
Okay.
And once they're wet, then we'll put it on a full pot.
Oh, fantastic. It'll be interesting to watch it. So the water's going to come right out here on this spout.
Right.
Now, one of the things that I like about this particular maker is that it does really good temperature,
Right.
but it also does it quickly. So typically, a pot of coffee is going to take about 6 minutes to be able to brew.
Right.
And do
I'm
you
going
want
to
to
grab
Fantastic.
grab it so you guys can see what temperature it's actually brewing out at.
And it pre-infuses pretty quick because I'm seeing all the grounds already getting wet.
Right. As you can see, the temperature that it's grinding out or brewing out, just turning it on, is 186 degrees, and the longer it goes, the higher the temperature will go. Eventually it'll get up to 200 degrees. That's what the brewer brews out at, it's 200 degrees.
Which is really a high temperature compared to other ones on the market. So why don't you go ahead and push your button and be able to get the carafe filling up. And it's nice and quiet. Another thing I like about the maker is, if you notice, it's only about 14.5 inches tall. So it'll fit really nice under a countertop, but it's very slender.
Right.
So if you don't have a lot of space, you can literally turn it sideways and place it into your countertop like that. So that's really nice. And it's got a unique look to it also.
Right. The brewing time on this is about 6 minutes, so it goes pretty quick.
Fantastic. Now, as far as maintaining and cleaning it, one of the things I liked is it's quite simple. If you notice in the middle, there's the little tiny section there. If that starts to get foggy at all, that allows you to know it's time to go ahead and descale the machine. And you can simply use a clean cap descaler. It comes in packets of 3, and basically it's a powder. You put this in the water reservoir along with a little bit of warm water, and you just run a regular brewing cycle. And what that will do is remove any residue inside of there and keep it tasting fresh and clean.
Right, and it'll also clean your carafe in the inside from the oils that build up inside the carafe.
And the other thing is, too, as you saw when we were first going through it, all the pieces on the machine are really easy because they are removable. And even the bar here is removable. And Randy, you want to take the ends off of that?
Yep.
So you can remove the ends for easy cleaning, which is really nice.
Right. Which just comes right off, and you can use the clean cap to, again, clean the bar out. So you can take the ends off of it. Just remove the scale on it.
That's really a cool looking thing. Now, one thing you want to make sure you do is, you know, put the bar back before you turn it on. Randy was telling us that.
Yes, I have this brewer at home, and one time I left it in the back like this, turned it on, went to do something, came back, and it was actually brewing on my counter.
So
make
probably not
sure-
a lot of fun to be able to come home and
Right.
find that you have water all over the countertop.
Yeah, so you do want to make sure that when you're done brewing that you just put this cap back on, and that'll make sure it's lined up in the proper position
Really cool.
prior to brewing.
So basically we have 4 models to choose from. We have the glass carafe with the hot plate that we showed you here. And then with our brewer that has the thermal carafe, there's actually 3 finishes. You have the black, you have the kind of this steel gray, and then you also have this polished look.
Okay.
And is
so-
that almost ready for us? Now, one of the great things about this is you can actually stop it brewing mid-cycle. So do you want to stop it so we can pour a cup and see what our temperature is getting up to?
Sure.
And how do you do that? How do you stop it?
Actually, we'll just push the button straight down to the bottom. As you can see, it's stopped, and then we'll just pour a cup of coffee.
Smells really good.
And then we'll just take the temperature of the coffee after it's brewed.
And what temperature is she at?
Oh, it's still going up.
And I like the cup that you pour that into. That's that double-walled glass, which is nice too because it's an insulator, but you actually can hold your hand on the outside of it and not get burned or feel any heat.
That's correct. Looks like it's it's finishing out about 172, which is really hot.
Now let's look at the boiler that comes along with the Technivorm. This is a 1475 watt copper boiler. It has an external heating element, which you can see here. And what this means is that it's going to dispense the heat uniformly inside the boiler. And what that's going to do is it's going to eliminate any hot spots and also any mineral buildup or scale, which is going to increase the life of your coffee machine. So I hope you liked our introduction to the Technivorm. It is a fantastic coffee maker, comes in some great shapes and sizes, and brews one heck of a cup of coffee. You want to try that, Randy?
Yes. Be great.
So we look forward to seeing you again when we unbox more merchandise.
Thank you.
Now let's take a close look at the boiler. The Technivorm has a 1475 watt copper boil, which has
Boiler.
here. And what that does is inside your boiler, it'll heat it uniformly, reduce. The other thing that it does is it helps reduce the amount of scale or mineral buildup that will come in your boiler and make the longevity of your machine longer. Make the longevity of your machine longer.